Here at Questionable Content, our goal is to highlight and support all communities in Charlotte.
In this very divisive time in American history, it is more important now than ever to celebrate that which actually brings us together.
One community in particular that is not just a part of the Queen City, but also part of who we are, is the Hispanic community.
We felt like there was no better way or time to celebrate such stigmatized and ostracized communities than by featuring
3 very talented individuals who remind us of the hard work, dedication, and pride that run deep within Hispanic culture.
We're so excited and so honored to be able to do this, and we hope that you find as much value listening to these as we did recording them. So with that,
we say Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Feliz mes de la Hispanidad.
Coming in, yeah, flex, I just wanna win, yeah, LABB who we running with, yeah, 2233, I'm on 10 again, okay, alright.
Welcome to, I already knew you were going to do it, welcome to another episode of the Questionable Content Podcast. I am your host, Mike Santee, and, well, obviously, with me today is my awesome, amazingly talented co-host.
What up? It's
wow,
your girl
what an
Jam.
intro.
It's your girl Jam.
And with us today is, why does this not sound normal? You know, I'm going to fix it. Oh, it's right here.
With us, regular guy over here.
With us
forget about it.
today is our very talented, the incredibly creative, and wonderfully spirited Berto.
Word. I like that intro.
What's happening? Yo, if you need a hype man, let me know, because
I can't tell whether that was sarcastic or not. I feel like he was.
Nah.
Oh, no. That was a good
bro.
intro.
Nah, he
that was a
liked
good
it.
intro.
I could tell when someone likes an intro.
He said word.
But while my microphone decides to not do anything, with us, and I kind of, fix some stuff, today, there we are. I'm just going to hold it. It's cool. We're just going to keep the episode running. So, Berto, first of all, as I say your name in the whitest way possible.
Berto. At least you didn't say Bobo or like Bobby.
No,
Robert.
like mess it up intentionally, like completely, like far-fetched.
I got lazy. Hold
Gentrify
on.
my name.
Yeah.
Robert.
We're just going to whitewash it. But, Berto, back on track.
There we go. That sounded better.
How are you? Like, how's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling.
Fresh off a shoot.
Huh? Yeah, fresh off a shoot. It was mad hot. I was mad sweaty.
Really?
Good thing you can't like smell through video.
In a long sleeve, bro. Like what?
Yeah, it's a dry fit.
Yeah.
It's
is that what they're meant for?
Fancy.
Yeah.
And we just
Well, see, I
turned up the AC.
only do this just so I don't get a farmer's tan. Because like being out in the sun a lot. Like,
Yeah, that
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Like my arms are super dark. Like if you go up here, like
Does it just
super like gringo. Like
Good
cut
thing.
away? Oh, nice.
Pool season's over. It's a good thing.
huh? Yeah, so I just wear long sleeves.
Pool season's over. But
Not yet.
speaking of which, because for those of you that don't know on the podcast, Berto's here is doing work. He's doing bits. # doing bits. That's mine. I took that. In the photography game. So well, first of all, let's talk about your page for a quick second. Gilded Images.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about like your start
Talking about like the
into
timeline, like
photography.
the layout and everything.
No. We're not gonna
He's like, let's
roast
get into the
timeline.
Oh yeah,
Details.
no, let's go into details right now.
I spent a lot of time on that shit. All right.
But how
Beat
did
that
you get your start in photography?
So I bought my whoa.
It's okay.
We can cut it.
Anyways, so I bought my first camera back in 2014, 2015, and I bought it just because like, like people go to family events, they just take pictures with their phone, and they don't do anything with them. So I bought when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do photos for the family, for memories and all that. Turns out I liked it and I enjoyed it, and I was like somewhat okay with it. And I did yearbook too, so I think that kind of like
In high school?
I did yearbook in high school. So like I think that kind of like helped like start that.
Yeah.
And then eventually I bought like my first prime lens, and I was like, yo, this lens is crazy. It's amazing. Like everyone first time buying a prime lens, they want to take pictures of everything with it. And then I just kind of like from there just kept.
2014. What was that? When did you graduate high school?
You gonna put me on the spot like
Wow,
that?
they're just gonna
20
date him.
I just want
2011.
Really? Okay, so it was like a year before. That was your
That's
year.
okay. No.
You're 10.
09, baby.
Shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, bet. I'm not the oldest one in the room.
no.
Gang. What
Baby
is that?
Jam.
Old.
All right, I just wanted to like fit the timeline on like where you were at.
Can you drink?
Huh?
Are you legal enough to drink?
Bitch.
Do we need an ID now? Every
No,
one of these
fine.
episodes? But continue.
You got your
hold
fake?
on. Yeah, I do actually.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so I bought the camera and then bought my lens and just started kind of once I started learning about like what app, like I started learning like what the different parts of the camera were,
Yeah.
and it was like super interesting because like there's a lot you could do with them. So then from there, I was like taking more pictures, and I was like, I can make money off of this one day. And I only came to that realization when somebody asked me if they could pay me for some photo. I was like, what? Like money?
Oh, so you never actually like considered it like?
No, it was a hobby.
You just did it for fun. Oh,
yeah, and then
what's
somebody
up?
was like, yo, I'll pay you for some photos. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like people get paid for photos. And then, from there just kind of grew. And it's crazy because like now, like I do, like I pay all my bills with photography.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how is that going for you?
It's going really well. So like all my bills are paid with photography. Like every time I do a shoot, like I know that that's going towards a bill, but like there's a certain amount that I hit, and now my bills are covered, and everything after that is just like spending money or savings. But what was I gonna say? I forgot.
You planned that out though, right? Like I know when I first started, I was like trying to get to that point where like I didn't have to work anything outside of photography. So I was like, all right, well, how do I get there, right? And like I was watching a bunch of videos, and they're like, you have to break it down like year by year, like month by month, like knowing how much like your expenses are and stuff.
Yeah, so I knew that I could make money off of it. It's just I don't know. It was just this year when I was like, I can do it.
Yeah.
Like COVID hit, and I knew. So with photography, like here in Charlotte, there's a lot of competition. I'll say that. So it's like you got to stand out. You got to like. So I was trying to figure out like how can I stand out, because like I'm seeing a bunch of like people that I know and like coming up with a camera, and I'm like, okay, so obviously they're gonna undercut me because they're newer.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm gonna, I gotta like do something like step it up a little bit, and I did that. Like I bought like started looking up equipment, bought like a Godox light, and then like now my stuff looks great.
That's the shit that was like leveled up. As soon as you posted those pictures, I was like, bro, there's a light in here somewhere. And I don't know how the fuck you said that, but it was dope.
And it was like I learned it on the fly. Like I looked up videos and I was like, okay, I don't really understand. But then like I did a shoot and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bust it out and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And if I fuck up, oh wait, is it the first 5 minutes?
Bitch, we'll just beep it out.
You know what? I
It's
think
6
we're far
minutes.
enough.
We're at 6 minutes.
Okay,
Plus, I'll beep it out. It's cool. We're good.
Right. So but yeah, so like I did it on the fly and I was like, oh wow, these came out really good. But if I would have messed them up, I would have been like, yo, I'm gonna give you a discount on these photos because they're not the best. But it worked out for the better. And then like I posted that, then like I just started getting a bigger buzz and people noticed it. And now I think I'm up to like 30 grad shoots this past semester.
Every week you're like, I got another grad shoot. I got another
grad
shoot.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of grad shoots. But I mean, now it was like I realized that like that's what I wanted to do. Like granted, like I like it as a hobby, but it does pay my bills too. And like I was working my 9-to-5 job, and I quit that recently just because. Yeah.
You were like, bitch, I quit. I was like, hell yeah.
Congratulations.
So I quit recently just because like I did use, and like this is like what you were talking about. It's like I did use my 9-to-5 to fund the equipment I was getting, and then like like trying like all the marketing stuff, and like I used it to fuel my photography stuff to the point where I can just do that.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the thing that like everybody at home understand this, please. Yes, we interview a lot of creatives and stuff like that, and some of them are full-time and some of them still work day jobs and stuff like that, but it is what Gary Vee talks about in any type of entrepreneurial thing where it's like, hey, get a 9-to-5 that'll pay, because you don't like, I think a lot of people get into this trap of like, oh, I'm so tired after my 9-to-5. I'm like, no, you're not, because you still have like the rest of the day.
And I know
open.
exactly what you're talking about. So there's like a video on YouTube. It's like Gary Vee and Joe Rogan together. Yeah. Like they like edited. I'll give you the link. I'll show it to you. It's crazy. Yeah.
But
it's like Joe Rogan talks about like the 9-to-5, and it's just like, if there's something you want to do and make money with, but if you don't have the time, it's like any free time you have to like commit that to what you want to like succeed with. And so you just take the plant, like every time you water it, you grow it to the point where now you're living off of this plant and you can let go of the 9-to-5. So that's where I'm at now. And it's like, granted, like I was making good money with the 9-to-5, and it was like, this is gonna sound weird, but it was like more money than I needed, because I obviously I was getting paid well, but it was like my bills were like half of what I was bringing in. So it was extra money, which I used to do the photography stuff. Yeah,
because you were smart and living below your means. Another life tip, yo, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses.
You don't need that Mercedes, bro.
You really don't.
Honestly, and it's crazy because like I came to the realization because I was working for Sherwin-Williams as the manager, and it's like and this is like entrepreneurial stuff. Like I see, these Hispanics, like they don't got papers, they don't know English, no high school education, nothing, and they're bringing in bread, and it's like they're making money. And it's like I see this dude pull up in like this $80,000 pickup truck, and I'm like, you don't know English, like how, like if you could do it, I could do it. And it was like that's where like like I was just like I need to do something else, not this 9-to-5. Like you don't work, you work for to pay your bills, not to live, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, definitely. I think that's like a big change nowadays where they do refer to, I'm going to lump us all into one generation. I think, actually, no, yeah, none of you guys are Generation Zs, so it doesn't matter.
I was like, please don't do that again.
Too old.
But yeah, so it's one of those things where like they talk about like our generation being the one that they don't
entitled.
No, they don't live to work. They just work to live. So like they don't care.
Right.
Like a lot of people, especially my age, they're like, hey, let me find like a 9 to 5 that's going to do 40 hours a week or whatever, so that I could go live the rest of my life like outside of that, which is why you see so many people like living for the weekend and stuff like that. But I think
with addictions and like,
yeah, I think like a step
escapes.
up from that is the entrepreneurial spirit, where you're like, hey, like, yes, my 9 to 5 is paying my bills and doing all that stuff, and I do think that's responsible. But then you're like, hey, I don't need to make as much of my 9 to 5. I just need my bills covered and know that like I call the shots, kind of thing.
Like you don't have to keep escaping like your 9 to 5.
Yeah,
right.
And
that's the thing.
And it's crazy because like, so in corporate they usually like incentivize like, you know, hard work with like a bonus,
Right.
quarterly or monthly, whatever. And I was at my corporate job. I mean, I'm gonna say corporate just because it's a corporation. But I was there 6 months, and it's like 2 quarterly bonuses, and like, you know, I bust my ass for the first one because like I don't know what to expect for the first bonus. So I'm like, I'm hustling, trying to get everything, and it was $120 for 3 months.
Hell no.
And I'm like,
Stop.
and obviously like COVID hit, so I was like, and it was just a bad like first quarter for the company. So I was like, all right, whatever, maybe the second quarter. So then COVID hit March, and then from like March to June, I'm like
That's
busting my ass off, and I'm like, all right, we're doing good. We're one of the better like branches in the city. So I'm like, bet we're doing really good. Boom, 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 boom. And then I look at my second quarter bonus, and it was $500, and I'm like, okay, it's a big increase percentage wise from the last one, but I'm like $500. Like I can go out here
That's
and
a shoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can go out here and do 2 shoots
Yeah.
on a Saturday, and then make the bonus that I worked my ass off for 3 months. So I was just like, yo, like I'm really not like, I'm stressed out from working 45 hours a week, commuting an hour and a half.
You drive
every day.
Hour and a half?
Yeah, my job was like 35 minutes, and
So
that was
like
during COVID, when there's no traffic. So like when there was traffic at the beginning of the year, like before all this stuff hit,
Bro.
I was driving for an hour one way and an hour. Like, so like I'm working 10, 11 hours a day, plus driving 1 to 2 hours a day.
Yeah, no.
So my day's like a 13-hour day, 5 days out the week. And I'm like, this is not living, bro. Like,
no.
But then like obviously like now I quit. Like I saw the $500. I was like, I can make this with a shoot here and there. My bills can get paid with the shoot. I'm funding my dad's family business through my job too. Like I built up like the marketing, the LLC, all that stuff for my family. So like I can, you know, if photography is not like happening right now, I can just go work with my dad.
Yeah.
Or like try to build that company up a little bit more. But I was like, I'll survive, and then I quit, and then like I'm so much happier these days. It's been like 3 weeks, and I'm like, it's been 3 weeks, but it feels like I've been like without a job for like months because the amount of like
time moves exponentially when you're not like in a 9 to 5 the whole time. Not saying that 9 to 5s are bad. All right, before y'all just go a little bit crazy in the DMs because y'all get crazy there. It's one of those things where like it's not for everybody.
Right.
And I think once you realize that it's not for you, everything else that you do keeps like comparing it back to that 9 to 5 where you're like, it's not. For some people, it's not.
And this is like what Joe Rogan said. It was like, yo, like if you can build like a wooden table and sell it for $700, that's exponentially better than working 9 to 5, doing something you hate.
For a week and a half.
You know,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was my whole like thing. Is like I enjoy doing shoots, and I'm like I can make money off of it. But it's like if I can make half my like there was one weekend, I had 5 shoots between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 5 shoots, and they were grad shoots, and I made $1,200. So I like matched what my last paycheck was in a weekend, in 2-3 days, and I was like.
That made
like,
it easier. Than
like it was way easier to quit my job. I was like, yo, I can do this. I just need to commit to it.
Is that Philip?
Yeah, or Henry.
That just flies around.
I got fruit flies. It's been a problem.
Oh, I call it a gnat.
Damn, gnats?
Bro. Gnats in here.
No, just fruit flies.
Fruit fly seems a little bit more docile.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the uptown version of a gnat.
I just have like those like death traps everywhere.
Yo, honestly, I've just gone full like hunter where like as soon as I see it, I'm like, I'm a clap.
I was thinking like psychopath. Like if.
So the thing is, like, they're so small that a fly swatter doesn't work because they'll just go right through the holes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm literally out here just like a fucking weird ass cat. Like as soon as I see it, I'm like, all right.
Out here pouncing on your furniture.
Yeah, for what? Like
now you're like
he's over there
hissing.
I will say there has been a significant decrease in them because there used to be more than I guess realized. But a friend told me, I don't even know if you watch this podcast, whatever, it doesn't matter. Actually, it was a friend's wife. A friend's wife told me, mix water,
apple
Vinegar.
cider.
Oh no, I tried that
vinegar.
first and they weren't biting. So apparently you just do
White wine.
red wine and soap and you like plug
Word?
your sink up, fill it up halfway through, like so that there's bubbles and there's sweetness.
Are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those things are basically like little tiny traps. But yeah,
That's crazy.
the bubble red wine thing like got rid of over half of them.
Word.
Let's bring it back.
I love a pest control podcast.
I'm telling you, we're out here. Back to Les Créateurs. How do you say creative in French?
Créatif.
I don't.
Is
know.
that right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she speaks French.
What?
Je parle français.
Yeah.
Oui?
Oui poupou.
Croissant.
Un peu? Said croissant.
Jesus Christ.
That's low-key racist.
Omelette du fromage.
This is how
That's
we
from
get
Dexter's
Dexter's Laboratory.
You're,
Yep.
Oh my god.
Omelette du cheese. What is it? Fromage.
Fromage,
Cheese?
cheese, yeah.
Yeah, cheese omelet.
In Italian, it's formaggio. You're welcome.
We all just like cultured and shit.
So
Word.
culture,
Bring
the
it back,
culture
bring
corner.
It back, bring it back, bring it back, bring
but-
it back.
To photography in your day job, there was, I feel like from what you've told me, there had to have been like an aha moment. But would you say it was that like that weekend where you're like, oh, I made basically close to my paycheck in a weekend or half my paycheck in a weekend?
Yeah, because I call it the fuck it moment when you're just like,
Oh, I
fuck
can do this. Yeah.
Like, no, not even that.
I don't-
Like,
I don't-
fuck this job. Like I can like.
Yeah, I was
no
gonna say I
matter
think it
how
was
hard
more
is.
the job. It was more the
Right.
bonus. Cause I was like, yo, like I'm really busting my ass to, like, and it was great. So, obviously, like corporate jobs, like if you're doing well, like they don't bug you. Like upper management
Right.
doesn't bug you at all because you're doing what you're supposed to do. But with COVID and just like no one was spending, no one was out. Like in retail, obviously, like retail sales went down.
Yeah.
And like upper management was like, what can you do in the store to like bring people in? Like you need to bring people in, and they're just like,
Oh boy.
they're just like they're like pushing and pushing and pushing. Like here we
Yeah.
need to integrate like online stuff. So they're trying to make us push the apps and trying to make us push like online,
The
like
credit
ordering,
cards and
like all this
Yeah.
other stuff. And I'm like, I'm like busting my ass. I'm just like, if you can't, obviously, like if you don't perform during the times where like the company's doing really well, like bad,
They blame you, not.
they blame you. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
this isn't my fault. Like this is literally the world. Like this
Yeah.
is the result
Right.
of what's going on in the world. And then like, I just at that point I was just like, yo, like fuck this. Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That is James.
like
Fuck
that, like
this
that. That
moment.
was the
The
moment I was
fucking
just like, yo,
moment.
like fuck this. Because the thing is, like one day I was just like, you know what, I'm not doing this. And then like the next day I got like reprimanded for not doing it. I'm like, yo, like I'm really like wasting my time. And then on top of that, like we were understaffed. So like a normal like Sherwin-Williams store is like on average maybe 5 or 6 people. We had 3.
Oh no.
We had half of what like a normal store, and we were still busier than all the other stores. So,
Right.
like, so I was just like, I was working like open to close and all that. And I was just like, yo, like I'm over this.
Yeah, for a second I was like, you said it was on the paycheck, and I was like, usually it's like management that makes people quit. So
Yeah, and it was just like they didn't care, and it's like corporate, and like I said it, I was like, yo, like this pandemic is gonna make people realize how not corrupt, but like how selfish and greedy these companies are.
Oh yeah.
So that's when I was just like, yo, like I'm like a steady paycheck, and they want me to like put all this extra effort, but just so they can get their bonuses, which are exponentially bigger than mine. And I'm just like, I don't know, like those bonuses that incentivize like the people that have nothing else going on.
And then you have your fam too. Like I know, like I kind of saw that all kind of happening, and then it just like kind of blew up, kind of thing. Did that kind of have something to play in with you quitting, like your dad's business or whatever, and then?
I mean,
or was it just more like the photography side of things?
well, no. So like the whole thing with the family business, like my dad has always wanted to like have his own like landscape. Like he did landscaping for a guy for like 10 years, but he's always wanted to branch out and do his own thing, and which he did on the weekends. Kind of like how I'm doing photography on the weekends.
Right.
And then like, while I'm working, making, decent money, I'm like pushing all that money into photography and building up the brand for my dad's landscaping company. Got the LLC, got the bank accounts, the websites, the marketing aids, magnets for the truck, literally everything. And like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like on social media, I was asking for opinions on logos and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah, no,
like all
definitely.
that stuff. And then like, I just kind of made it into a package, and I was like, look, I got all this stuff set up, quit your job. And he was kind of hesitant because like, that's always scary.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just like me, like he's working, making like, I don't know, $700, $800 a week. But then on the weekends, like he's matching like, or close to matching his paycheck on the weekend doing his own thing. So I'm like 2 days almost making the same thing as you're making 5 days, and you're working for someone. Like I told him to quit.
Yeah.
So now he's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing, but I'm helping him do his own thing too.
That's awesome,
So,
because it's
hold
usually
on.
the other way around.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
We got to take a break. Just to reset the camera and all that stuff. Let it like not
Damn,
overheat.
I was about to say something.
Because it's already been 20 minutes, and Sony, my problem with you.
Nikon does too.
They do? I swear, some of y'all. Okay. But yeah, we're going to take a break. We'll let everything cool down, do its thing, yada, yada, and then we'll come back. All right. So, cameras and stuff like that.
No, your dad's business.
Yeah, your dad's business.
That was my question. It wasn't actually a question. It was just a statement.
Go
it was
on.
like, it's usually the other way around, like your parents will be some way to influence like how it is that you function or whatever. So in your case, it was like the other way around. So you kind of got your dad to do that.
Yeah, so like my dad's not like the most like tech savvy or like business savvy either. He just knows how to work hard.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I went to school, got a business degree. Obviously, like I'm not using it for any corporate type thing, but it's like, so it was econ. Econ is like doubles as like a social science because like it explains human behavior, like why people act a certain way, what drive, like stuff like that. But everything I learned, like I apply it to business, like trying to.
All right. And you took all the courses, like accounting, right? Like they make you take
like all the basic stuff.
Business.
But yeah, so it's like I did use my degree, but for my own business, for my own entrepreneurial thing.
Honestly, that's what I feel like it should be, because I think there are too many people like with business degrees that are
accountants.
Yeah. That like, why do a business degree if you're not going to run a business? Like,
right.
You're just going to get
and
a business
that was
degree.
my whole thing. And it really, like, I didn't even need the degree to be honest, because like I'm pretty, like, I was always like an entrepreneurial type person. I was like, always had ideas.
That's for your parents.
But yeah, right. It was for my parents, just for them to see me walk the stage. Really. Yeah. But I mean, if it wasn't for them, like I would have dropped out a long ass time ago.
Now, is that because? Well, I'll ask first. Are you first generation or?
Yeah, I'm first gen.
Okay, you think that's a big thing? Why like there was like that pressure to go to college, graduate, and all that stuff?
Or did you even have that pressure at all?
I think I put the pressure on myself. It wasn't my parents because they support me whatever I do. Like I was in school. Like I did UNCG, like a 4-year school for a year.
You did?
Hey.
Yeah, I was at UNCG.
Go Spartans.
Bro, you graduated like this year.
That's true. That's a whole other story.
I went to UNCG for like a year in 2011. And
shit, I was there.
I don't know. We might have crossed paths. I don't know. So I did that for a year, and like my grades weren't that great, and like I got academic like
probation.
Probation then suspension.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I got academically suspended, but I mean that's a whole different story. Like my advisor told me something like she messed up and I guess I misinterpreted it. But anyways, so because I was super confident in what I was doing,
right?
And I thought I was okay, but then like turns out I wasn't.
Did you always know you wanted to do business? Like, did you start off as a business major?
No, I was a geology major at some point.
Time out.
You wanted to make maps?
Let's talk about that real quick.
That's the weirdest one I've ever heard.
Yeah, I took a class and I was like, yo, rocks is fucking crazy. Like,
well, yeah, that's what you do with no, that's geography.
No, it's geology. It's rocks.
Geography is maps, geology is rocks.
Yeah.
So what would,
and like
it's the study of geo.
Yeah, no, I meant like, what would you do with that?
So I was like really like
be an excavator,
okay,
an archaeologist.
Like I knew that there was like a lot of money in like grading land before like construction and stuff.
That's genius.
Like there's a lot of money in that. So I was just like, I'm gonna fucking do that. Like with rocks and shit. Like rocks was super interesting. Anyways, I was in school, UNCG for a year. Then I went to community college because my parents were like, no, you still got to do school. Like it's either school or what else. Like you're just gonna work. And I was just like, I don't want to just work, so I'm gonna go to school. And I did better at community college because you take away the social side of school,
smaller classes and stuff like that.
And then after that, I did the military.
Yeah, I keep forgetting you went to.
I always forget that part.
So I did my 6 years with the military, and then, but it was reserves. So I did like 2 years active, and then 4 years reserve. But like that, my parents always trusted my decisions. Like they weren't in agreement with the military, but like they knew that I wasn't doing something stupid.
Why wouldn't they be in agreement?
They trusted you.
I mean, like
pay for school, get all these benefits.
Yeah, but they were just more in the like, oh, he's gonna go to war
and he's gonna die.
Right.
That's what a parent hears when it's like, I'm going to the military. They're like, oh, they're gonna go to war and die. Like,
right.
They don't think about everything else that comes along with the military.
So then I was like, I think it was like in my 4th year as a reservist. Like I was working for a company doing automation, like door automation. So like. Like the sliding doors, like the handicap doors, garage doors, like all like mechanical and electrical stuff. Cause that was like my background with the military. I was making like 22 an hour at 19, 20 years old. And I was like, yo, this is great. And then the dudes that I work with were like 40, 50-year-old men from like bumfuck nowhere, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And like I came to the realization these motherfuckers been doing the same shit for like 30 years, and I'm making the same money. And I'm like, is this my like the end game for me? And like, I'm like, no, I need to go back to school. Then I went back to school, and I did like gen ed, then took the geology course, and I was like, yo, I love this. And then
Rocks.
yeah, and then I took the class, and I was like, I guess I lost my interest in it by like my third geology class.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I don't remember who it was, but like I had gone to like Lasso. And they're like, what's your major? And I was like, geology. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, I guess I can't do this anymore. So then I was like, I had to take more gen ed, but then I came across econ. And then econ was like super easy. I understood it. Everyone else was struggling with it. And I'm like, yo, this shit makes sense.
Right.
Everyone says it's like the harder of the business classes. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's so easy. It's supply and demand. And supply is not like
That's literally
inventory.
what the whole class was.
Yeah, it's supply and demand, but then like you get into organizational, and then you go into political economics, and it's just like everything that in the world is driven by a demand for something.
Yeah.
So like people like human behavior, and it's like you learn different concepts like how like a line for an for an event, for a video game release, that is like the equilibrium point of like supply and demand. Because like if someone walks up to a line. And I don't mean to like talk about economics, like, but this is like
Econ 101, bitches.
Y'all are getting all
Listen
this
up.
in one episode. You're welcome.
But this is like the like one of the concepts that I was just like, yo, that's crazy. And it's like the concept of a line. Like somebody walks up to a line for a video game, and they're like, if the line's too long, they're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Right.
So that means that their demand for that game was not high enough. So like they leave. Yeah. So it's like the line is like the perfect balance because like that determines whether someone's gonna wait or not if their demand is high enough. So it's just a concept of human behavior.
Which means you don't. Yeah. I'm thinking about those shoes that people like camp out for.
Jordans?
Is it Jordans?
I was a sneakerhead too back in the day. I worked at.
Shit.
And it's like this goes back to like the whole entrepreneurial thing. Like I worked at and I would hustle. Like I would.
You would get like
So like
you get your discount and
Not
then
video.
flip them. It's not illegal. It's people do it all the time.
It's super illegal.
Definitely
but
it's frowned upon.
I don't work for the company anymore, so whatever. And that was like 7 years ago, anyways. But no, I mean, I'm not gonna say no. Let me know.
Let's just bleep out that whatever the company.
We're just gonna
is.
take out where you worked, but
okay, yeah.
continue.
Anyways, but like I used to like get the shoes on discount, and then like
flip it.
Like, I already had people that wanted them,
right.
So like I would just, for example, like if they were like 180, I'd get them for 120. But then like 180 is like retail price, but I had people that would pay more 220, 240 for it. So if I'm getting it for 120 and they're paying 240 for it, I'm making 120.
Yeah.
And like the biggest like come up was like I made 1,000 off like 5-6 pairs of sneakers.
Shit.
Yeah, like you had some Kobe's come out, some KDs, some Jordans, some foams, like.
Golly.
But so like I always had that entrepreneur. I was always trying to make money somehow.
And that's the thing. That's where I feel like it's definitely one of those. I don't think you can to a point teach entrepreneurship, but I think after a while, like it's one of those things that it's like it's in you or it's not, but not just the entrepreneurial part, the added hustling part of it, because like you could be quote unquote entrepreneurial, whatever you want to call it.
You can know anything you want about entrepreneur, but if you don't have
if you don't have it in you
to
like
hustle,
the drive or anything.
Yeah. Because then you go back to the security, if you want to call it, or the safety net.
Then you get scared and then
you
go back. But it's like, for me, it's just like, it's more on some like survival mode thing. It's like
exactly.
I quit my job and I was like, bet, like now I got to focus. Like as soon as I quit my job, like the next day I was hitting up realtors to do like real estate photography. I invested in a drone. I invested in like a gimbal for my camera. And I was like, yo, I need to figure out, like I'm investing and spending money, but I know it's going to pay off in the long run. Like when I upgraded my camera, same thing. Like I dropped $2,000 on a camera and I was like, yo, fuck am I doing?
It's an investment.
Yeah, it was like an investment.
That's
but then,
really
like,
it is.
After like the first couple of shoots, I was like, yo, like I could see the difference, and then like things just started like getting better from there. So like I made my money back.
Hell yeah.
So like return on investments on the camera was crazy. Now I invested in video equipment. Hopefully that I get that money back soon. So
and I feel like it is one of those things where you're, as an entrepreneur, your return on investment doesn't go like linear as you're used to in a job where it's like you're used to being like, I go to work, I get a paycheck. I go to work, I get a paycheck. Whereas like as an entrepreneur, you're like, I'm doing a shit ton of work right now and I'm not seeing anything. But then after a while, you like break through that ceiling and it doesn't just go linear. It goes like exponentially. And it's like
weekly.
Up.
So like last week, I didn't really have anything. Like I didn't have any shoots or anything. So I like went back home, worked with my dad, tried to like get him some more like leads for jobs and stuff. But I didn't have anything for photography, and I'm like, damn, like I'm like, if I don't have anything for a week in photography, I'm like, damn, I'm
drying up. Like
you're behind.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, like what am I doing? Like where am I messing up? And I'm like trying to find new ways, to, like come up with something. But then like this week, like I didn't really try to do anything because I was busy with my dad. But then like out of nowhere, I had like 5 shoots for this weekend.
That's awesome.
So it's like it's not linear at all.
Yeah.
But it comes in waves, but it's very satisfactory. But
So
Go
business
ahead.
question, yeah. I'm gonna go off
Do
another
it.
direction. Yeah. Do you feel like most of your leads come from like what you do online, like social media and stuff, or is it like referrals from like people that you already have had shoots with?
both. I mean, it's like obviously like social media. Like I do a shoot for someone, they post them, they tag me,
That's it.
they see the photo and they're like, "Oh, you look crazy," and then like who took them, boom, now I got a follower, and now and it's just like that. But it's like I think in Charlotte, like it's people follow the same people, so like I'm pretty much just circulating around the same people, trying to find a way to like branch out of like the UNC Charlotte and the college students crowd, because I've been doing freaking grad shoots like crazy.
Grad
And,
shoots
like,
on grad shoots on grad
Yeah,
shoots.
like I mean I'm appreciative of it because like obviously like I'm making money off it, but it's like damn, like I can only shoot like UNC Charlotte entrance signs so many times,
and especially now because I feel like
Yeah.
all those grads didn't get a graduation or like to get to walk the stage.
Right.
So like
So
the
it's
only
like-
thing they have is
it picked up. But I mean again, like I'm appreciative of it. Like I'm not mad at it. It's just like I want to do, like if you look at my
branch out.
page right now, it's like mainly grad shoots.
Oh, yeah.
But that's my own fault for posting them, but I mean that's what's making me money.
Yeah.
So
Plus, you got like that hum where you're like, okay, what's the next thing? And I think that's like a big part of your work ethic, at least that I've seen, where it's like
Right.
you're not satisfied with just like that one project. Like I think a lot of people, actually, a lot of like startup photographers would get into this trap of like, oh, let me just keep doing the thing that's paying me or whatever. But you're already thinking of like, all right, I've already quote unquote mastered that lane, or I'm comfortable
Right.
in
And
that
it's
lane.
crazy
What's
'cause,
the
like,
next thing?
The grad shoots is like I know the spots that I take the pictures, and obviously it's the same spots, and it's like I'm trying to even if it's like where else can I take photos,
Mm-hmm.
like something like that. Like I'm trying to find something different to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be complacent.
You, like
Yeah.
you're gonna to spice it up in some way or shape.
Right. And it's crazy because like I remember when I first started, like I was very awkward when it came to shoots because I was just like, all right,
How do I
like,
tell them what to do?
yeah. I was like, and then like now it's like obviously like I'll go on YouTube and like study how to pose people like that. Like
Yeah.
something as simple as that is like that sets you apart.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and I think honestly, I think you saw this on our first music video shoot. Is that like there is this, I don't know, I guess if you want to call it like this type of timidity or like shyness about like telling people what to do.
And
Yeah, 'cause
you're
at
the first to
first-
say like they hired you for
Yeah,
that reason.
like they hired you
Right.
for it, like you're the expert. So it's one of those things where I think the sooner people get comfortable with like, oh, like they're waiting for me to like let them know what to do, then like you'll be
And
good.
it's so funny because now it's like I'll pull up like for example like UNC Charlotte shoot and like I'll like be setting my stuff up, not even making eye contact. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? Like, are you ready for this photo shoot? Da, 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 da. What kind of music do you like? Da, 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 da. Like,
Oh, you
mean,
play music too? You have
yeah.
to.
You
always
kinda
play
have to,
music.
yeah.
But it's like I don't even like it's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Almost, like what I'm saying. It's like, oh, you ready for the shoot? Da da da. And like obviously you got to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like you play music.
Have you had
and-
a hard time like getting someone comfortable? Like they're just like
Yes.
that's
Go
a stupid
on.
question.
You don't gotta say name schools or anything.
I'm
but
not
just
gonna
the
say
experience.
names or school or anything, but it's just like I'm not even gonna say that because like that will give it away. But it's like some shoots like I don't even post. Like and it's like you can tell when someone's not comfortable with the camera, one or two, like if they're like they just didn't have a good time. But it's like I do the same thing every time, and usually
Right.
it works out. So like that kind of tells me that it's not on
Like
me.
you're the outlier. It's not.
Right, like
Right.
it's not my fault. It's like I'm doing the same thing every single time, and
Yeah.
it's like the results that don't happen. Like that's not
Right. We were like, oh, there's something else that's like off here because you're consistent at least with that. Where you're like, hey,
right.
I
But
know that
it's
the
like
things
I
I'm
will
gonna get
I will
out.
say like the only variable that I know that I have really like that render different results is the timing of the day of the shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like typically like evening shoots are your better ones because like the sun
Sun.
is not so harsh. But like if
Right.
I have a shoot in the middle of the freaking noon 1 p.m. and the thing's like beaming, it's tough. But
they're
it's
like this half the time,
Right,
or like
or
the
it's hot-
shadows
it's
on
hot.
the face. Yeah.
and it's but and that's part of the reason why I quit was like yo like I was very limited. So like if I had like 5 shoots and people wanted them, like I can only do them on Saturday, so I gotta squeeze them in.
That makes
And find
sense.
someone, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Jam, I swear to God.
Bro, I'm trying.
I know. The amount of contact you make with a microphone on an
Yeah.
episode basis. But yeah, I would say, well, not would say, one of the things that I am curious about is, because I know, especially in photography, it's not just point and click kind of thing, all that stuff. What was the, outside of the like editing part of things, what was the harder part for you to grasp or understand when it came to like starting out with photography? Like, was it like learning exposure? Was it learning lighting or something like that?
I think, I mean, it's the trifecta. It's like how ISO, aperture, and shutter speed interact with each other. And it was like, you know, I'd study one and be like, okay, I just got to set this, but then it would throw the other one out. So it's like trying to find that perfect balance.
Yeah.
And like jumping from like aperture mode or shutter mode to manual, that was like the biggest one for me. It was like, okay, like
all things are on the line here.
yeah, like once you hit manual mode, like you're good with it, and it's like, you know, things change all the time, different locations, a cloud might hit, but it's like knowing how to like, okay, I need to adjust this, boom, 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 and it's like
that was the hardest thing for you.
Yeah, like learning that, but it's like obviously like with anything, it's like the more you do it, the more you practice. So it's like all these shoots I've been doing. Yeah. In the same locations, like different times of day, like I know how to adjust now.
Yeah, you got to get those reps
like,
in.
Then you throw on like an external flash, and then you got another thing you got to worry about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it's like learning it. So like that was the hardest thing. It's just learning how 5 different settings interact with each other, and like if one's off, they're all gonna be off.
Right.
Did you have anybody ever to like tell you like, oh, I don't like these pics?
Oh yeah.
Really? How do you even like address that?
I don't know.
Like,
they happen.
No
like,
refunds, bro.
Yeah, like how do you?
I hate to say it, but like it happened a couple of days ago.
Oh, there goes everything.
It happened like a couple of days ago, actually.
What?
Yeah.
So how does how does that situation happen?
I didn't know how to deal with it because it was like the first time that someone told me, it was like, yo, like, and it wasn't even like that they didn't like them. It was just like that they didn't see the consistency of like other shoots with like. They told
it didn't like meet their expectations, I'm guessing.
Right. But they received their photos like way like a while ago, and they were fine. So I don't.
Oh, so like you never really.
So
know.
they were comparing to like other stuff.
Yeah, just for like separate question. Do you like what is it?
Watermark?
Yeah, before you send them the copies.
No, so I mean it's not really a secret. Like it's not like a sales thing, or it's not like a secret formula for me. But it's just like I'll edit. Let's say you shoot 250 photos. Like I'll go ahead and edit 70, 80 of them, and I'll send them to them. Like I'm not gonna do proof and then like wait for them to be like, oh, I want this one edited. Yeah. And I'm like, now I edit it. Like, hey, is this fine? Like I'm gonna just edit them the way I do, because the thing is like when you hire a photographer, you're hiring their editing style too.
Yeah.
So like I've accepted that, and it's like I'm gonna edit these 80 photos, even though these like 10 look exactly the same. You just got like your upper lip is like to the right a little bit or something.
Right.
But
that's
like
you, bro.
But the thing is like I know people like have like certain little things that they, oh, my eyebrow wasn't da-da-da. Oh, my left eye is a little twitchy. Or so, I don't know. Something.
People are weird. Yeah.
So, like, I'll just send that just to get rid of that conversation. Because now, like, I'm spending time, like, if I send you proofs, I'm waiting on you to send it back, what you want. I send them, waiting for you to approve. And then, by
whatever. Then it's like.
Just edit here. Here's 80. You're only going to post 5 of them. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the most.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. That is.
I don't.
Better.
I mean, they don't really need 80 photos, but at the same time, it's just like, here is your huge package.
80 photos.
That is a lot. I remember specifically for a photographer that I had, like she only sent
10,
20
15?
tops, like so.
And which is crazy to me, and it's like not to like blow up the spot for a lot of photographers. It's like it doesn't cost you anything to edit more photos. Like if anything, you're probably If anything, you're probably copy and pasting the settings.
Yeah.
Like
from like 1 to 1.
You got 15 photos in one location. The only thing that changes is the way that they're posed or whatever. But like, the lighting and everything, you didn't change anything. Like why
it's not that hard to just keep going.
Right. Like literally just highlight everything and copy and paste. Like,
and if you know like who you're taking pictures for, like nobody's gonna ever be okay with just like one version of a picture.
Right.
They'll take a look at 50 of the same and be
and
like.
the thing is, like, I realized that because they were just, like, you send, I used to do the whole like 10, 20 photos, whatever, like a limited amount of photos, and they're like, oh, what about do you have any more of these?
Right.
Like, and I'm just like, you know what, here.
Just take them all.
After a while, here's everything kind of thing.
Right.
On the back end of that, do you think? Actually, yeah, same question, but different side of photography. What was the hardest part to learn on the editing side of things? Or did you like realize that after getting that trifecta kind of intact, it helped with your editing? Like
you had to do less editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really edit too much off the camera. Like I'll adjust some color settings here, some brightness here, whatever. But I think the hardest thing was trying to like come up with your own style.
That's the photography.
Obviously, like the first thing you do is like always like you go on social media and like, oh, like damn, like how did they do this? How did they do X, Y, and Z? Like I want to emulate that. And it's like trying to copy someone, like you're not gonna get the same results. So it's like
Right.
you gotta accept that you're not one. Even if you were to copy it, but like you gotta accept, you gotta be okay with yourself. And like, oh, this isn't something originally that I made. So it's like now it's just like I just go in there and I'll edit the way I look, like very minimal. And it's like if you got a little bit too high of highlights or whatever, like I'll bring. Obviously, just like go in, like check down the list, and literally just make small adjustments.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like that's what they're hiring for is like the photography itself. Like if the photography is good, then you don't have to do so much editing. I think I was listening to a podcast too where they were like completely against selling, because you know how a lot of people sell like their filters and like
their LUTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're like
presets and all
that.
Like, that's so
like,
weird to me.
They're like, no, we don't sell the presets because that's the whole point of like what makes me.
Yeah,
but it doesn't work for every photo.
And it doesn't.
Yeah. Also,
so
if everything's like
it.
not color corrected the right way, like that LUT or that filter or preset isn't gonna like come out the way you want.
It's that whole thing with like monetizing like as much as you can and just letting it be like making money on itself, you know.
But that's just the people that are buying that are the people that like just don't know how to do it. Like for example,
they also don't want to learn.
Right. Like if I take a picture of you got this orange shirt, but then I apply it, like I bought a
I
bought a filter from like Peter McKinnon.
Right. It's like it's dark
like
and gray and
yeah.
And like I throw freaking icy blue,
super moody and
filter.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm just like
why does this look like?
Right. You get like a Becky and Chris like
is
black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh no, I got a filter from Peter McKinnon. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever.
That's true. I mean, I think it's honestly it's one of those things where it's like, and I'll wrap this up for our next break because I don't trust that clock. / I don't remember when we started recording. I feel like it's more so shame on the person that is lazy enough, not lazy enough, but yeah, lazy, where it's like they don't want to take the time to learn it. They just think that like throwing a preset is going to like solve it. And honestly, for some pictures or most pictures, it does change the effect and stuff like that, but it doesn't give you what you're looking for.
The only time that a filter that you bought is going to work if it's like the filter is like very minimal or anything.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. It's something you could have figured out in like 5-10 minutes if you actually applied yourself.
Yeah.
And I doubt it's being bought by photographers because photographers are taking that time to learn how
to actually
edit.
do stuff.
So
Yeah.
it's really just people who are like, Instagram, let's slap that shit on and like
Exactly.
So it's not, you know.
Do better, people. Do
well,
better.
not the photographers. The photographers are doing their own thing.
But yeah, like your fault.
All right, Jam, relax.
But what I was saying before is that like genuinely like you are one of my one most sought after guests, but like two like look forward to, in the sense that like I appreciate that you understand and enjoy your craft so much that it's very easy to like to talk to you about. Like you don't have to pry answers out of you because it's just one of those things where it's like
you get going.
It's not just something you do; it's part of like who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a talker. I don't know.
Yeah,
my dad's a talker. Like I'm a talker. Like, and especially like if I'm passionate about something, like I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh yeah,
and the thing is, like I don't like keep things back. I'm pretty blunt.
Yeah.
So that comes out with like
Admirable.
just regular conversation.
But yeah, no, there's definitely going to be a part 2 to this. So if y'all, not like I'm wrapping this up or anything, chill. But if y'all want to,
people are like, yo, like what
the fuck you mean relax?
Like, the fuck, 22 minutes? What you doing? But yeah, it is one of those things for sure that there will be a part 2 to this. So
yeah,
chill if your questions didn't get answered or things that you want to know. Or I mean, you could just like not wait for a podcast to do it. But if you're gonna wait for a podcast to do it, wait for us to do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like when we first started talking about the podcast, he was like, who should we get on here? I was like, Berto.
Yeah, it was one of like the top ones.
Automatically, like that has to be on there.
Appreciate that.
I mean,
just a dude with a camera. I don't know. That's what I tell people too.
Just a dude with a camera. That should be like your bio.
No, I mean that's what I tell people. Like when we're in shoots, like they're like, oh, can we do X, Y? Hey, look, I'm just a guy with a camera. Like I'm working for you. And then they're like, oh, okay, bet.
But one of the things that does interest me about you a lot and that I do respect very highly is the fact that, especially on social media, you don't shy away from like topics along the lines of mental health and stuff like that. You're not really one to like shy away from it. Like if you're in your feelings, like you'll tell people very like upfront kind of thing.
I mean, I'll say Twitter is like a pretty good tool for that, just because like
I love me some Twitter.
Twitter's the wild, wild west.
Yes, I
not anymore.
love it.
It's tame now.
It's pretty tame.
It kind of just depends on who you're following and who.
That's also very true, because I be following some people where I'm like,
yeah,
they be wilding.
But yeah, no, Twitter is pretty good because like, I don't post and I don't like if I'm going through if I'm going through some shit, like I'm gonna post it on Twitter, but it's not like I'm not like
exposing your life.
I'm not like fishing for sympathy.
Yeah.
Right, you're just.
I'm just like putting it out there because like it helps me because I'm like, all right,
because
like,
now it's out there.
Yeah, like now I'm dealing with this internally and like let me just put it on Twitter because like what better way to like get it out of yourself and put it out there than like social media.
It's the 2020 version of journaling. Your thoughts out.
I mean,
Just,
honestly,
like,
basically, yeah. Because there are plenty of times where like I'll either say something or post something that I've had like people in the past before like ask me like, oh, is that about me, or like, are you going through some stuff? And I was like, honestly, I just needed to get it out of me. Like,
honestly,
yeah,
I just be tweeting.
It's just one of those things where it's like it's cathartic to like get it out of your system. Where it's like now it's not just you holding on to everything internally.
Right, and I think. I don't know. I don't like holding things in. Like, I'm gonna just put it out there. And you know what's crazy? Like, I'll put it on social media on a public thing, but like, I hate when people ask me about stuff.
Like when people follow up and they're like,
yeah,
okay?
I saw your tweet, or they'll DM you separately, and you'll be like, but mind your business. That was for everybody, not just for you.
Or like, I'll be like these chimichanga fries are like amazing, and then like somebody's like, yo, like I saw you had chimichanga fries. I'm like, like
that's
that
awkward.
wasn't for
I hate
you.
when people bring shit up that I posted online. I'm like,
right.
You know, which is
just comment on it. It's
the
fine.
weirdest part about it all is that like
That's
literally
what it's for.
that's how I
That's
like,
what it's for.
Yeah.
that's how I get guests, or that's how I like start conversations, because like it is one of those things. Like, so for the people at home that
Yo,
don't
I saw
know,
your dog died. Like,
Oh,
come on our podcast.
Yo, sorry about your
it's
dad.
kind of like that, but not to that extent. But so Jam and Berto have had a longer friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it, like because of who you guys know and your mutual friends and stuff like that. And then I met you through Jam kind of thing. But it is one of those things where it's like there's always been this, I had to get to Berto through Jam, and then eventually I was like, I'm just gonna keep DMing him, and then eventually it's gonna be comfortable enough where like now there are times where like you post things and I'm just like, oh yeah, I feel super comfortable like letting you know like, oh, that's cool, or like, hey, you want to do X, Y, and Z kind of thing. But yeah, it is definitely. I don't think that process would be as easy if you weren't as open and as vocal as you are.
And the thing is, like, I'm open on, like, you know, like people, like the thing about social media is like it's a fake world. Like people always post like the good stuff that goes on in their life.
Highlights.
That's why I appreciate your shit so much, because I'm like, it's like the most honest, like
it's authentic.
And the thing is, like, people only post the good stuff because like they don't want to post the bad stuff. But like, if I got in a car accident, like, hey, look, I got in a car accident. Here's my car. I'm fine.
Look, my brand new car.
Yeah, and then it's like after that, I'll be like, look, I got a new car. But it's just like, yo, like I'm like letting you see that, and like I'm just a person. Like I'm not. And shout out Jasmine, one of my friends. She always says like I'm just a person, and like I appreciate that she says that, because it's like I'm just a person.
Right.
That shit happens to me. I'm not gonna put up a front on social media where like everything is good, and I'm only gonna post the good shit. Like, oh, like look at this expensive thing I got. Like I'm gonna post the bad shit because like I'm not a superhuman, and
because it's who you are too. Like you're very authentic.
I like to think so, but it's just like
I think a lot of people gravitate towards that, which is why like I think you've seen
yes and no.
Yeah, I think the right people gravitate towards it. Like the ones that it's a better filter, I would say. Like you being authentically you, I think, at least in my experience, has done a better job filtering out like the BS or the people that are there for just like surface level stuff. Right. Because then you truly start to realize like who's out here fucking with you.
Right.
And because then it's a very easy thing to find out like who rocks with you only in the good times. Because as soon as bad shit starts popping up, like those people get quiet fast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Like when it comes to like stuff, like I adapt pretty well and like doing stuff on my own. It's just like I don't really need anyone. Like, not to sound like oh, like I'm just like mysterious dark guy, but it's just like adaptability. Like anytime that I've interviewed, like they're like, "What's your biggest strength?" I'm like, adaptability. It's like you present me with a situation, like I'm gonna find a way out. Like I'm gonna find like something.
Right.
I'm gonna find a way out to make it work. You know, like I'll just adapt.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You good, Jam, or am I gonna hit him with the wrap up questions?
Yeah, I thought you were going for that.
All right, so we ask our guests. This is only the second episode with Jam on. Just get used to it.
It's because we just came back because we have all the mics now, so it's like
yeah. No, it looks legit.
Nothing like
now, I think.
Nothing like my 9 to 5 bankrolling all this equipment.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, but
please subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, but like one day it's like you'll have all the equipment you need, and
then it'll be.
So it's like me with my equipment for my camera stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously I just dropped like $2,000 on a drone and a gimbal.
Deal.
No, that's all credit cards and half cash.
Just write it off on taxes.
Whatever.
7% interest.
Something like that. But I mean, I don't have to buy it anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one of those one-time purchases.
Make
like,
money back.
yeah, microphone arms get better, like tables get better, yada yada. But it is one of those things. Like when I leave the first iteration of Questionable Content Studios, which, side note, peep the new artwork. You're welcome. Charlotte local, Cody Hughes. Thank you, sir.
Shout out.
But yeah. We got a new backdrop and we got LED lights because Mike just keeps buying things.
You can never have too many LED lights.
If you need somebody who's gonna buy a bunch of stuff for like your projects, hire Mike. I'm a professional buyer. If that's a thing,
he'll blow your budget out the water.
Yeah, we're gonna get everything. You might not be able to afford your next rent payment, but we'll get it all. But yeah, shout out to that.
Yeah.
To wrap this all up, we always ask our guests, or we will be.
Wait, I never even asked you. Like,
go ahead.
Wait, are you from Charlotte?
No.
And I know you weren't from Charlotte,
No,
but like,
Let's do that part first.
Oh, like a bio? Like, we didn't even do like a bio.
we didn't even introduce
That's
you.
fine.
and
We'll
shit.
get that on part 2. Psych, we're getting it right now. Where are you from?
So originally I'm from Maryland. My family's from El Salvador.
Oh,
But
shit. What part of Maryland?
like Langley Park area.
I don't know why I asked.
I don't know why the fuck you asked. Like, we don't fucking know anything. Maryland, D.C. area.
I thought you were gonna be like, yo, like that's crazy.
Oh,
I'm a fraud.
shit,
I'm like, shit, College Park? All right, let's go.
Yeah, no, but College Park, like it's in that area too.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. See, I actually know that part. Okay.
Yeah, so like that area, like that's where I grew up.
How'd you get down to Charlotte?
My parents.
Like, were you a child and they were like, hey,
Yeah.
we're moving to...
Nah, it was like in 2006. I was like 12. And they were
Oh
like,
wow.
okay, yeah.
Okay, that's like
It's not too
okay.
bad.
So I guess I can claim North Carolina now because I've
Oh,
been
for
here.
sure.
The
I've been here longer than.
North Carolina or
Anywhere
Charlotte?
else in your life?
Charlotte.
North
I'm gonna say
Carolina.
North Carolina.
You weren't in Charlotte, no.
Predominantly, but then like you did that UNCG stint.
I mean, I've only been in Charlotte for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But
But North Carolina, long.
yeah, like my parents live in Durham.
So you're not a unicorn. It's fine.
Neither
What's a
are
unicorn?
you. Born and raised. So
There's only a few of us out here.
Jam's like us,
Where are you from?
Texas.
I was there for a year.
Wait, I knew that.
How'd you know that?
I think you mentioned it before.
What
Oh,
the
I think
fuck did I mention that?
Yeah,
I
you
think
definitely
I think
mentioned it.
I'm pretty sure I've clowned you for being from Texas.
I've never.
You've mentioned that in our presence before.
I don't mention that ever. I said I was born in Texas, but
that might be what
that's
you
not
said.
where I was raised.
That's probably like the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jam's like
Shut up.
99% unicorn.
All I know is Charlotte. That's all I gotta know.
That's
all
really
I
it.
gotta say.
But yeah, so
Anyway.
that being said, now that we know where you're from, how you got like your start and everything like that, part of interviewing Charlotte talent and things like that is figuring out if money was not an object or anything like that. It's really a 2-part question.
Okay.
So the first part, fairly easy. Why Charlotte? And when I say why Charlotte, not why did you come down here, because we know your parents decided that part for
Like,
you.
why am I still here?
Why do you
Yes.
stay in Charlotte? And the second part is going to be
I'll
if
ask it.
money. Yeah. So we'll do that. So first part, number 1, why Charlotte?
Like why am I still here? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just in North.
What makes Charlotte special to you?
It's close enough to like, my parents that are 2 hours away.
Okay.
But it's like the bigger city. It's like the most fast paced. Granted, like Charlotte compared to like other big cities, is not that fast paced.
Oh yeah, no.
But in North Carolina, it's a faster pace.
Top 5 growing cities
I mean,
in the
it's
U.S.
definitely growing. Like, have you ever considered moving to like a bigger city? I feel like it's just gonna be more competition.
At
It's
some
just, like,
point,
more like
At some point, like maybe like Miami, Florida. But like
you're
Right.
a Miami, Florida. You're a Florida man type man.
I don't know. I was just like yo, like the beach and I don't know.
La playa.
But now I'm just like yo, whatever. Like Charlotte's
Right.
right. And the thing is, like I got my family's business here. Like I'm pretty much gonna stay here.
You got a lot
I'm
of
a strong
ties
advocate for
kinda
Charlotte.
thing.
Charlotte is
Yeah.
it.
I got a lot of.
Yo, top 5 growing cities in the U.S.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
so Jam, take
Second
us
question.
home.
Yeah, this is the last one. If money wasn't an issue, anything else, what neighborhood would you just call your forever home?
In Charlotte?
Yeah.
Mhm. We have Noda, we have Plaza, we have South End.
And
we
I'll
have
even extend
Pineville,
it. Do you want to extend it out to like
Concord, West
past
Side.
the loop?
Things
that are
definitely okay. So there's a 277 loop, which is all the
Yeah,
four
yeah.
wards.
I'm at 45
Yeah.
loop.
Oh, you mean that? Well, yeah,
The
I think
45
45 kind of has
Even like
everything in it.
Huntersville and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
Mint Hill, Indian
Where would I want to live in
Trails.
Charlotte?
yeah. Of all Charlotte-esque neighborhoods in and around Charlotte, if money was an object,
We're
where would you
gathering
prefer
data.
living?
I don't know, to be honest. I kind of like where I live now.
Concord, you like up there?
Well, I mean, it's still Charlotte. It's still within Charlotte city
yeah,
limits.
I'm
but,
saying like
Yeah.
up north.
but
That's
like
that's
new.
a new. That's like new. I
That's
don't think I've ever heard
up
that.
and
Cause
coming.
the thing is, like, I live right by Concord Mills, but it's like further. It's like far enough from the
Spaced
uptown
out.
area,
Right.
but it's close enough to where it's still like 15, 20 minutes away.
You can still get here if you need to. Things.
Well, that's the best thing about Charlotte is like you could live pretty far
And then,
out,
like- and the
but
thing is,
still
like-
get here like
Right.
because of the freeways.
And then like most of the people that like I hang out with are
Up
in
north.
that area, university
Right.
area. So,
That's true.
so
That was the first. I'm
Well,
adding that to
shoot.
my
what do people normally say? Uptown?
all the like South End, Plaza
all the like
Midwood.
the
No.
big suburb neighborhoods that you would
Noda.
hear, like Myers Park, South Park,
Why?
stuff like that.
Why?
A lot of parks.
Why do you want to live there?
If I had my way, you know what? I think like the Audrey Kell area, or like Weddington
Valentine?
and stuff like that. No, not Valentine. Like I'm talking
That's
about like
Audrey Keller.
the edge of like Blakeney,
Fort
and then
Mill-
going
oh.
down into like if you take Providence out to
Blakeney.
Fuck, is it
Wesley
Weddington?
Chapel. Yeah.
Oh, that
Weddington.
area?
That area, like going further south away from the city, because I'm like, I just want land.
Arboretum area.
Past that, like.
That's actually the other direction.
Oh,
Maybe,
wait,
like, maybe
Weddington.
even like
Weddington
Weddington,
is
like
like-
Weddington and Waxhaw kind of stuff, like that far out.
Okay, yeah. Oh, see, I wouldn't mind that either.
I'd probably just like settle there with like my family.
I think it's
but
just mad
actually,
far.
Lake Wiley. I'm coming for
Concord is mad far.
you. It's not,
It's not that far.
It's better than Highland Creek
I can get there in
Park.
like 15, 20 minutes.
Get where?
Yo, you going the speed limit?
To Weddington?
Yeah. No.
Where?
Well, Weddington's not that far from here either.
Oh, because y'all take the outer loop. Yeah.
We're not going to tell anybody what Berto drives because we don't want him getting pulled over.
It's a nice car.
But that being said, there is 1,000% going to be a part 2. Berto, thank you so much for coming over to the studios. Oh,
Tell these
quick
people where to
question.
find you.
Yeah, where can people find you on social media and everything like that?
Gilded_images. GILDED_images.
I'll put that in the
Follow
video.
that shit.
Follow
I mean, that's the main one.
Nah.
Is
What's
there
your
more?
Personal one? We need your personal.
Yeah,
one.
we want
I'm
people
not getting my
following.
person. No.
Yo,
He's
if
like,
you
give
go
him
to
his Facebook, his social security number. Is he a blood donor? Blood type?
Oh, negative.
Oh.
Dang. Yep.
Isn't that like rare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm O positive.
The thing is, like, anyone can accept my blood. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only like O people.
So naturally,
with
I'm just a
positive
giver.
stuff. Oh.
What's your sign? Hold on. What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Ooh, I should have known that.
Fucking Sagittariuses.
Oh, yeah.
What?
She was at my last birthday party.
Anyway.
Well, on
let's wrap
that
this shit
note, Berto, thanks for stopping by.
Berto.
Don't.
You said that with like a rolling R.
Yo, you want to fight right now?
All right, peace.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow
Your boy.
everybody. Jam Sesh 4H's
Everywhere.
on all social medias. Mike Santi 18. This is Questionable Content on Instagram. We are _questionable content _. There's also the Questionable Content Podcast on Instagram. And yeah, with that, guys, thank you. We will see you on the next episode of Questionable Content. Deuces.
Coming in, yeah, flex. I just wanna win, yeah. LABB, who we running with, yeah. 2, 2, 3, 3. I'm on 10, 10, 10, yeah.